Are you alright?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Yeah, well, what we're gonna do today or something?
Yeah, some parents have been wondering why the teenage son or daughter, why the teenager is getting angry and moody most of the time.
Okay.
And they mostly see it in their teenage sons. When teenage boys desire to be more independent from their parents, they can show tantrums and frustration. And it's when they can't yet enjoy the freedom of an adult. So they tend to show that frustration and anger and moodiness that sometimes they could talk back to their parents as well. Most times they show emotions and attitude towards their parents. This anger and moodiness is caused by hormonal changes shortly after puberty begins. So what you also have to think about is the fact that some teenage boys may be dealing with peer pressure, which could push them to do things that you wouldn't want them to. And this can intensify a boy's anger because they want to feel like they have power. Teenage boys struggling with this can argue with their parents one day and feel upbeat and happy the next day.
Yeah, but how people cope with their anger, emotions, is what determines the peace of mind they get. You understand? So having in mind that anger is normal for both adults and teenagers. It's a normal occurrence. People are free to be angry. You understand? It's something that happens every time. But as a parent, when that anger or that moodiness becomes something that happens every time, become a normal occurrences, that getting to the extent that the child start misbehaving, start shouting at you when you talk to them, and they start being abrasive or aggressive towards you and all that, that's when it becomes something of a concern. That's when parents start being concerned about it. Do you understand? So being angry is not bad. You can be angry, because as a human being, we have emotions. Can be angry, can be moody. You understand? But when it leads to being aggressive or leads to being, you being, I understand about the tantrum and all that, that's normal things to do. But when you become aggressive, being a little thing, shouting at your parents or shouting at your peers and all that, that's when it becomes a concern. Yes.
Yeah. And
so, sorry that I interrupted.
No, it's fine.
The question I want to ask is this here. All right, when you get to that stage, what most parents is wondering, why? There's a situation whereby you see yourself like your son, especially the boys, they always show that more than girls, I think so. So they always see them moody, angry. You understand? So why is something like happening all the time?
Yeah, I was going to answer that before. There might be reasons for their moodiness and anger. For example, not being able to stay with your friends for a certain amount of time. Let's say, for example, that you ask your mom or dad to go to one of your friends' places.
Okay.
And they say yes, but what they will also want to say to you is that you have to be back by a certain time, and you have to stay there for like 1 hour or so, and it's not even close to the evening by the time you get home. That's what I call really annoying.
Yes, it's gonna be annoying because, first of all, what teenagers don't understand is that as a teenager, mostly we were teenagers before as well, when you want to go out to your friends, we always lie. Teenagers always lie. They don't give you the full details of what they're going out to do, or the time they're going to stay there. Are you getting me? So sometimes, for example, they want to go to a party, isn't it? The party might be starting around 10 p.m. or 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. They will not tell you what time it's starting and everything. Few might be honest, telling the parents that, okay, it's starting so time. I want to stay this long. I come back. Well, the parents, because it's parents' responsibility to make sure that their children are safe, isn't it? So they have to make sure that you're safe when you go in and when you come back. So they will tell you, okay, right, you need to be home so time. Go, but you have to come back so time. And teenage, that's the annoying part, because they still want to be out there with their friends. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So it's annoying. I understand what you mean, but a parent has to be a parent.
Yeah, but another one could be when your parent tells you to get off your console or any game that you're playing. I don't think this will come as a shocker to other teenagers out there. There must be at least one time where you're in the middle of an amazing game, or you're about to win. But just as you are about to win, your parent, your mom or dad, will come and tell you to get off the game. And even when you tell them that you just need the slightest bit of time to finish it off, they'll tell you to turn it off and get off there.
Okay, right. You're playing your PlayStation or you're playing your console, right? Most of the teenagers out there as well are going to understand that none of you plays your games with time. I get me? So when you're playing your games, you don't put the time on it. You forget the time. You might be there for 3 hours at a go, doing the same thing, 3 hours, while you have other things to do, right? So there's a privilege that parents, or most parents, unless some parents that, I don't know, as a parent, you need to, that's what I'm saying, there's time limit for everything you're going to do. As a teenager, most teenagers are supposed to have a timetable, right? Things they're going to do in a day. This is time for them to play the console. When they are doing their console or they're playing their PlayStation, there's supposed to be a time limit on it. But when they're doing it for like 3, 4, 5 hours on the same place, their eyes, their concentration and everything, they're doing that. They're forgetting that they've been there for 3 hours or 4 hours. So the parents might come around and say, okay, yeah, man, it's time up. You need to go and do something else. You understand? And it might be, like you said, it might be they're about to win something, or they're about to do or shoot or whatever, I don't know, in a game, right? And they just come down immediately and say to you, okay, now that is time. It's time up. You need to stand up. It's annoying. I understand that. But the other side, from the parents' perspective, you've been there for a long time. Are you getting me? So I understand what you mean, but it's annoying. It may be, but if it's happening all the time, that's when it becomes so bad, you know?
Yeah.
I understand.
But following up on that, it's when your parent punishes you for the smallest reasons. Let's say that you have a chores list and you finish all of them except one. But you say to yourself, oh, it doesn't matter, I'll do it another time of the day. But your parent will come around and see that one chore that you didn't do is not finished. They'll automatically think that you haven't done any chores whatsoever. And I think, I don't know, I'm not trying to be rude, but I think there's this kind of thing where it happens most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
When you don't do one thing, they'll automatically think that you haven't done any other thing either.
Throughout the day, yeah. Mm-hmm.
They'll over exaggerate as well.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll come to you and they'll say, why haven't you done any of your chores? You try and argue back and say, I have, but they won't listen. They'll automatically say, you're punished for the rest of the day. You can't use your games, you can't play anything, you can't talk to you on your phone to your friends or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Then they'll argue back and start shouting at them all the time as well.
Okay, the teenagers start like shouting and
yeah,
all
they'll
that.
get angry.
Yeah, but yes, what you're saying now is what is supposed to be like understanding, right? The parent might overreact. Okay, you might overreact. You have to understand something. As parents, sometimes when parents go to work, there are pressures as well to parents. They went out, they come back. Some parents, they bring that pressure from work or from whatever they went to come, they bring it home. So as they're coming in home, they get home, they seen the teenage, their daughter or son, the chores, maybe whatever they tell them to do at that period, they didn't do it. You understand? So that with that anger, they overreact. Do you understand? Which that is the bad aspect of it for the parent. Okay? That means it's not acceptable. Are you getting me? So on the parent, the teenage side of it, right? The teenager, I've already explained to the parents, said, okay, yes, I've not finished the shows. Right? I've done some of the other ones, but this one I wanted to do. I'm resting or whatever. Do you understand? So there must be the parent is supposed to listen, understand what the teenager is saying at that moment. Do you understand? Okay, all right, okay. Listen to the teenager and then follow it up. But when it become conflict, this one is shouting, the other one is shouting. No one listens to each other. Do you understand what I mean? That's a big problem. So like I said, from the parent's perspective, the parent is supposed to do what? Calm down, take a breather, and listen. The problem between the two parties is what? No one is listening.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it? This one is talking, the other one is talking. No one is listening to each other. That's the problems.
Yeah, and this is kind of like put together as well. Let's look at this scenario. Your teenage son just found out from his friends that they didn't do any chores whatsoever. And they'll get angry because they'll start saying, oh, it's not fair. I have to do chores every single time when I come home from school. And they'll be like, can't I have a rest or anything? You guys can just come home and play on your games all of the time and go on your phones, talk to other people. I just have to do chores, clean up my room, clean up the kitchen, clean up everywhere. You guys are lucky.
When they're talking to
their friends.
Their friends, mm-hmm. All right. But what you have to understand is that most times when, for example, when we were teenagers as well, when I was growing up, teenagers, when you stay together with your friends, we lie a lot. Nobody wants to, no one wants to show weakness. Do you understand? Something like that. You say, yeah, no,
they want to act cool, isn't it?
Yeah, they want to act cool, yeah. I don't do nothing, man. You understand? I don't, yeah. Yo, seriously? You do dishes? No, me, I don't do no way. My mom and dad do everything for me. Do you understand what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But as a teenager, who is losing out of it? Most of them, you find out that when they get home, they still do their stuff, right? They will do their homework. They do some other stuff they do, right? But when they come out, they pretend as if nothing happens. They don't do other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Understand? Okay, from the parents' perspectives, you have to understand something. When parents is telling their teenage son or daughter to do some chores, for example, when you wake up, clean your rooms, tidy your room, do some other stuff you do. You can do some dishes and everything, right? That teenager, if the teenager that doesn't know if the parents is one doing everything for that teenager, from when he was a child to when he grew up, when that teenager moves to university, right? When you went to university, you're going to be on your own. There at the university, who's going to help you to cook your food? Who's going to do your bed for you? Who's going to do your dishes? Who's going to wash your clothes? All those kind of things is something that you're supposed to have learned from home, right? Before you move out there,
mm-hmm.
when you become independent. You understand? That's the reason why parents, they do all the stuff telling you to do this. Because as a good parent, you're supposed to teach your children or teach your kids, prepare them for
when they grow up.
Prepare them for outside, to go out the world there. It's not fair out there. Do you get me? So when they are, okay, let's see the other angle. You went to university, you don't even know how to do all the stuff I told you now. You don't even know how to do a proper tea, just to drink, prepare tea. Or you don't even know how to do a cereal. Do you understand? Just to eat. Will it be cool in front of your mates?
No, it won't.
Now, who is Ben? Who those years maybe when you're hanging out with your friends in secondary school, and they'll be like, "Yeah, I don't do nothing." Now you you're independent now. You're on your own university, and you don't do nothing. Will your parents be there with you?
No, they won't.
They will not be there. So that's why sometimes it's not cool. Sometimes it's annoying that they tell you to.
But they're actually helping you for the
future.
future.
Helping you for the future, for you to like be in. You're gonna be independent when you're gonna be on your own. You understand? You know how to do your bed. You know how to prepare your food. You know how to do your stuff. You know how to arrange yourself. You know how to be yourself. Are you getting me now? Sometimes because you can save your money they give to you to go to school, isn't it? Because you cook for yourself. But if you don't know how to do all those things, all you do is what? Eat out. Spend all the money. So it's annoying. It makes you moody and everything. I get that, yeah.
Yeah. Furthermore, whenever you make a mistake, they will make a big deal out of it, like calling you names. And as you said before, it could also be like they have pressure from coming from work, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So this one makes teenagers angry a lot because they have a valid reason. Because once they make a mistake, their parents will shout at them.
Mm-hmm.
They could even call them names, like call them stupid or an idiot. And their son will scream and shout at them, and they might take their anger out on their parents. And you said before that, no, as you said before, they have to start listening to each other. Nobody's listening; they're just talking to each other.
Yeah, that's when.
Yeah,
that's when I say it's becoming a conflict when the two of them becoming like everyone is no one is listening to each other. It becomes something. It might escalate to calling each other names. Understand? So there's some parents. There's some parents that like they don't really control their emotions. Do you understand? When they're angry, they can say anything they want to say. They can call their kids or they call anybody around them names. Yeah. And when you call those teenagers names, what do you think that happens? It's belittling them, isn't it? It makes them. Sometimes they will answer to you, "No, I'm not stupid. Why are you calling me that? I'm not that." Do you understand? All those kind of things. So you giving them that ammo to do what? To disrespect you. That means you are not respecting them. They're gonna disrespect you, so they're not gonna like respect you as well. So that's the situation. Both parties need to listen to each other. You give a teenager respect. A teenager gonna give you respect as well.
Mm-hmm.
You talk to each other. So yeah, it's something that parents need to like think about. Boys, girls. There's a way girls handle things. Boys are boys, so their moodiness and their anger, they always show it in your face. Sometimes they can't handle it. They talk back to you. You understand what I mean? So, but it's not right. What I would say is that as a parents they know their children more than the person, right? They know how their kids are. So we're not here to tell you how to raise your children or something. Mm-hmm. Or all we're saying is that when that child or when that teenager is getting more angry and getting to the stage whereby it's becoming aggressive and becoming, how would I say, trying to fight with you or trying to, shouting at you all the time, there must be something behind it. There must be something wrong. When you get to that stage, all you need to do is you need to seek help. If you find out that he doesn't listen or she doesn't listen to you, you try to communicate, you try to talk to the person, and he doesn't listen, and it's escalating. You understand? Seek help before it gets out of hand. So that's the only thing I would say out of it. Angry is emotions. We are free to have anger. We are free to, be moody, but it's how we handle it. That is the problem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you should take care of yourself and your family a lot, and you have to, as you said before, you have to. Since you know your son or daughter more than anybody else, try and find out if there's anything happening behind the scenes.
Yes, that's it. That's what we're talking about. Okay, and try to subscribe, click the notification bell,
And like this video, like
Like
this
the video.
podcast.
and share to your loved ones. Thank you, guys. And don't forget that family is everything.
Thank you.